Present here, and thank you so much for joining us on this immensely special day. A beautiful morning dawned today, on 24th of July 2017, and we see a lot of that loveliness reflected in this room. We're so happy to have our students here and of course their families. You've traveled from very far to be here with us, and we're equally delighted to have members of our academic council, our board of directors, our board of advisors, well-wishers and supporters. This is truly the ISDM family, and I would like to begin with a round of applause for each one of you seated here and joining us. Rumi said, and I just quote, "Yesterday, I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I am wise, so I am changing myself." And I think this is so true for each one of you seated up there. And this is the year that you are definitely going to change yourself and then the world. Before we go any further, I want you all to put your mobiles on silent mode. Thank you very much. And I now invite our founders to please come up on stage. Mr. Ashish Dhawan, founder of Ashoka University and a pillar for ISDM. Mr. Ravi Srinaran, 25 years of working in the corporate sector, 7 very intense years in the development space, and now founder and director of ISDM. Mr. Sharad Agarwal, significant business building experience, and now founder and registrar of ISDM. Mr. Suparna Diwakar, the pillar of ISDM's academic council. Mr. Gaurav Shah, founder and dean, student affairs and partnerships. Thank you all for joining us, and very soon you'll be hearing what they have to say. These past 2 years, it's really been like a story. And the protagonists of the story so far are all seated here. And they all have their own parts of the story that has made it whole for us. So I invite before you to begin the day Mr. Gaurav Shah to share his thoughts and welcome all of you.
Thank you, Kanu. A very good morning to everyone seated here.
Good morning.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you're all comfortable. People at the back, if anyone wants to come up front, I think we have lots of seats here up front. And I know this is an educational institution, but we don't need to be backbenchers. So I am personally a little bit of a film buff, and I've noticed that filmmakers use a particular technique when they want to show something of tremendous importance. They play it in slow motion. So as I stand here welcoming all of you, I almost get that same slow motion kind of a feeling. A feeling that something potentially momentous is happening here today. A feeling that we are taking baby steps towards an historic journey which will definitely deliver sustainable social impact on the ground. And a feeling that everyone seated here today, and those who are not, are now part of a close-knit family and community for life. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the launch of ISDM's postgraduate program in development. Our journey over the last 1.5 years has been always life reaffirmed. A journey which has clearly demonstrated the very cliched idea that if you really believe in an idea, if you really want it from the bottom of your heart, then the universe will conspire to make it happen. Whether it's in the form of the unwavering support we got from our founders and benefactors, or the scholarly inputs from our academic council and working group towards the creation of an innovative and world-class academic program, or the invaluable advice that we got from sector leaders and visionaries, or our partners who've helped us in many, many different ways, from technical inputs to commitments on internships and partnerships. You've all given us the courage to dream, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Our journey has also reaffirmed and re-established faith in the future of the country, belief in the capabilities of youth, and comfort that we are in good hands. What the youth today are capable of doing, if they put their minds to it, is truly extraordinary and outstanding. Some of us who started this journey came together at the Azim Premji Foundation. Mr. Premji had once famously said, if people are not laughing at your goals, then your goals are too small. I hope that, in the years to come, more and more people will be laughing at us, but joining us and supporting us in our journey over the years. That will be a true measure of ISDM's ambition, progress, and success. Let me conclude with a quote which in our minds really captures the essence and the soul of this journey. And I quote, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." Unquote. Thank you very much. A warm welcome once again.
Thank you, Gaurav. And I'd just like to tell you a little bit about Gaurav's background, though I'm sure most people in this hall know him already. Gaurav is an alumnus of IIM Calcutta and of BITS Pilani. He has more than 15 years of experience working in the private sector as well as in the development space, largely as a management consultant with P&G, American Express, Azim Premji Foundation, and Loan Capital. His areas of experience include program management and implementation, strategic and business planning, organization, restructuring and design, and sales and distribution management. You can see how much all of you are going to learn from Gaurav in the next 1 year. Thank you again. There is a lot that one can say about our next speaker, but I've always felt his work has spoken volumes for him. Mr. Ashish Dhawan, founder of Ashoka University and Central Square Foundation, is an educationist and philanthropist who has done his MBA from Harvard University and also studied at Yale University. He is on the India Advisory Board of Harvard and a member of Yale's Development Council. He's worked for more than 20 years in the investment management business and ran one of India's leading private equity funds, Chris Capital. In June 2012, he left his full-time role there to work on education reform, and the result is in front of all of us, Ashoka University, and now I hope ISDM has the same story with your support, Ashish. May I request you for the keynote address.
Thank you. Welcome, class of 2018, parents and ISDM well-wishers and family members. I think this is a truly historic moment that such an institution has actually started in India. I think all of us have known that there is a crying need for management in the development sector. I'm a crossover. I was, as was mentioned earlier, I was in the corporate sector and I crossed over about 5 years ago. But many of the young people sitting up there have really started out in the development sector. I know some of you are making the switch from the corporate sector. But I can tell you that this is a very exciting moment for the social sector, for the development sector, for the NGO sector. And I'll tell you why. I think, obviously the sector has played a very important role in India. There are lots of dark spaces which the government has not been able to fill, where markets don't work. And the social sector in India is very vibrant. It's been around forever. It's part of our civil society. It plays a very, very important role in our society. But I think it's an exciting cusp where it's going to change dramatically in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to change because the size of the sector is exploding. Many of you know that CSR, the Companies Act, mandated, or rather has recommended CSR. And that has led to an influx of a lot of capital into the sector. My estimate is that if you think of donor money as revenue for this sector now has roughly a 30,000 crore revenue pool. It's not a small sector anymore. And there are many organizations. If you look at organizations like Akshay Patra or Pratham, Akshay Patra has crossed 200 crore, Pratham is at 150 plus crore. And a new organization like Teach to India, which only started 10 years ago, or less than 10 years ago, is almost 100 crore organization. Now this was unthinkable 2 decades ago, where not-for-profit meant it was someone with a lot of passion, compassion, who would start something in their community. But it really was much more of a community-focused effort. It never really could scale. Forget about at the national level, but even at the regional level. So I think we're now at an interesting moment where the funds are there. But there are some strings that come attached to those funds. I think the money now, whether it's coming from foundations, foreign money, CSR, etc., is more demanding. They're asking more questions about impact. They want to understand that scale is being thought through more rigorously, etc., etc. So I think as a result, this, even though talent has been a big missing gap in this sector, there's a lot of talent, but a certain type of talent. I think now is the time when we really need the managerial talent, the leadership skills in the development sector if we're going to scale with impact. At the same time, almost serendipitously, we have the youth in India who are highly motivated, and I think a lot of people are critical of the youth and the fact that they are disconnected from each other, that on social media, blah, blah, blah. But I actually think we should be proud of our young people because they have a social conscience that maybe people in our generation didn't have. They really want to build a better India. They want to create a better society. And as a result, you're seeing many of them actually start out their careers in the social sector. And there have been many fellowship programs that have been created. The Gandhi Fellowship by Kevalia, Teach to India's fellowship program, so many others. Ashoka University has something called the Young India Fellowship, through which a number of people go into the social sector. So you see a number of young people really wanting to build their careers. And these are very, very talented. They've been to some of the best colleges, they've been well trained, and they really are saying, I don't want the corporate sector, I may make money, it may be a great job, but maybe it isn't as meaningful as the work that I could do in the development sector. So making a very conscious choice from very early on to build their career in the social sector. So I think it's the confluence of these factors that makes it very, very exciting for ISDM right now. Because there always was a need, but if we don't do it now, this sector will not be able to develop the way we like it to develop in the next day. I also think that Ravi and Sharad and Suparna and Gaurav have just done, they had this vision and this dream, but I've had the chance of seeing them at close quarters over the last 18 months or so. And it takes a lot to start a new institution. It really takes a lot. It saps out all your energy. It's hard. There are lots of challenges. It's very, very hard to convince parents and students to be members of the first batch. It's challenging to convince faculty when you're just a startup, etc., etc. But really, kudos to them. I think we all should just put our hands together and thank them for what they have done. I mean, it would have been easy to say this is too hard, we can't do this, but they really persisted and made this happen and have big plans to do a lot more than just run this program under the aegis of ISDM going forward. I want to point out that when the Young India Fellowship started, which was really the first, and Anu is sitting here, and she was the person running the Young India Fellowship program. It was really the forerunner to Ashoka University. The Young India Fellowship ran for 3 years out of a rented campus, much like this campus, and then eventually became a full university. And actually in the first batch of the Young India Fellowship, there were 58 students. So at 64, 67, your class size is not very, very different from the Young India Fellowship the first year. And a lot of what was done in that program in terms of outreach, going out to colleges, workplaces, similar things done here. Of course, it's much harder because you're trying to find people, and a number of, I know, the members of the cohort already have work experience. So it's not that they were in college. And I think that's great because that was always the aspiration, is to get students who have some work experience and who can bring that to bear as they enter the program. I think you'll find that the program is very unique in that Suparna has been working very hard on the curriculum, and I think it's really well stitched together. This could have been a smattering of just courses with visiting faculty, and that's always the danger of a program with visiting faculty. But I think a lot of thought has been put into first introducing the cohort to the development sector, getting them familiar with the context, then really talking about what is the management capabilities and tools you need in the sector, and then eventually focusing on impact, field work, impact, etc. So it's a wonderful curriculum, a lot of exploration of self, a lot of exposure to leaders from the sector, and of course none of this could happen without great faculty coming in. And so I think for the cohort, you're extremely lucky because there are a number of very, very talented faculty members who will be coming to teach you, but a number of them are actually practitioners. So they have years of experience in the sector, and they're deeply committed to the sector. And also a number of guest speakers will be coming in. I think one of the advantages of being located in the NCR, which has a very, very vibrant NGO sector, is the ability to draw on a number of leaders who are present here. So the curriculum, faculty, I think is very, very exciting, and this will really lead to the creation of a great program. I think a special thanks to the first cohort. You all took really. You are the founding cohort. You always will be the founding cohort. You took a big risk to be here. I mean, this is what you could see was on paper, and there's a lot of faith and trust you have placed in the founders, in the faculty members, etc., etc. And I know it's a very bold move, so it says something about you. I think people self-select into these kinds of things. So the fact that you have chosen to be part of the founding batch is a risky, bold move, and I think that augurs well for your potential in this sector. I had the good fortune of going to the Harvard Business School. Of course, I went when the institution was already 89 years old. I learned some, but really the thing I came away with was a certain degree of confidence that I could really make a difference in the world. Not necessarily in business, but make a difference in the world. And that's the motto of the school, is leaders who make a difference in the world. And my sense is, given the boldness that you've displayed in coming here, is that you truly will be leaders who will make a difference in India and really help build a better India. I also want to thank the parents, because it's without your support. I know many of them are older, they're making their own decisions, but it always requires your support to make this happen. And it's a courageous move. I'm sure when they had the first conversation, I'm certain when they had the first conversation with you about ISDM, you must have been like, are you out of your mind, or what is this thing, etc., etc. So I'm sure there were a lot of doubts through the process, and I hope coming here, listening to people, but more importantly, when you hear back from your children, once they are in the classroom and they're experiencing what they're experiencing, you will know that you made an excellent decision. I just want to close by saying that, to remind everyone that, we often don't realize in these small gatherings where we get together, some 150 of us together, it's a close gathering. It just feels like any one of those gatherings. But I just want to remind us that it is a historic moment. I mean, we will always look back at this moment and say, this was the genesis of ISDM. This is from where it started. Of course, there was a lot of work done prior to this, leading up to this. But this is really the inauguration of it. It feels small, it feels like, you know, we're in a rented building, all of that. But that's how all things start. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, so you see this again and again. And we mustn't forget this moment, because I think we'll all look back someday and say that we were all present at the beginning of an institute that really made a difference to the development sector in India, that really contributed towards the talent in this sector, which is the biggest need, and really served the country in a very, very meaningful way. And our hope is that not only is ISDM successful, but after this program runs for a period of time, there are others that come up that want to do something similar. I think the real, a lot of people give credit to the IITs, that the real thing that the IITs produced were their alums. Same with the IIMs. I would disagree. The alums are great, but I think the real thing that the IITs did was they made engineering prestigious, which is why today you have almost 4,000 institutes, varying quality. But India is a powerhouse when it comes to IT, engineering, not just because of the IITs, but because of the knock-on effects. And the IIMs made the MBA degree or management education prestigious. My hope is that ISDM can make development management prestigious in India and across the world. So, thank you all for coming, and I wish the new cohort all success. I look forward to interacting with you through the year. And please remember that you took a big risk. We are thankful, but at the same time, a lot rests on your shoulders because you are the founding batch of ISDM. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thawan. What he said towards the end reminded me of that famous quote that with great power comes great responsibility. So that one is for you students. Our next speaker is definitely one of the warmest people I know. One of the most traveled person I know for sure. He stayed in more than 40 countries. An insightful leader and a great human being. Mr. Ravi Sridharan has worked for 24 years in the corporate sector, most of which was at HSBC, where he worked as the regional marketing head for the Middle East and Africa, head of consumer products for Asia Pacific, consumer banking head of Indonesia, and the CEO of Bank Economy. He quit his corporate career and switched to the social sector a few years ago with the Azim Premji Foundation, where he was the head of education, leadership, and management. And I request him to now share the ISDM journey with all of you.
Always a tough ask that one has to follow Ashish when he talks about ISDM and all that we sort of aspire to do at ISDM. But really, let me start by welcoming the first batch of ISDM. All the work and all the pain and all the sort of time that we spent in the last 2 years was for this moment when we get to meet you and we start a journey together. And in our own minds, in some senses, the responsibility passes on from us to you. We've done the hard work, now it's for you to do the hard work, and we're sure you will do that. And we've decided in some senses to call you founders. Really, you ought to be called founders. So all 67 of you are founders of ISDM, and you realize that that is a responsibility you're going to carry forward in your life for the nation, for the world. I want to start by talking about a small experience of my own from my life. In school you get report cards, and you have to go and get them signed by your parents. And my first, second, third standard, I used to get my mother to sign them. Then I think it was my fourth standard, I went to my father and I said, "You sign the report card." He said, "Yes, I will, as long as you got more than 80%. that report card. And in some ways that became my father's endorsement of what I do, became a sort of a stamp of excellence for anything I do in life. And today to have my father, who's 87 years old, make the effort to come down from Bangalore. While I mentioned my father anecdotally, I'd also like to thank all the family members, especially family members of the students and family members of some of the people at ISDM who come from really far and wide to be present here. And it just gives us a sense of responsibility, a feeling of why ISDM is important for all of you, and ISDM is important for the society, and it puts a sense of responsibility on all of us. As I see my mother-in-law and I see others in the audience who are about 70, these are people who were born before 1947. It's a humbling reminder of what they gave us, what is the idea of India, what is the vision that they had for India, and we hope that's a message that we will all carry forward, and we live up to those expectations of what the idea of India is and what we want this country to be all about. With all your blessings, I believe ISDM will outlive everyone in this room, and I hope ISDM will continue to contribute to make a difference to society in the generations to come. And our vision of society is one of a just, equitable, humane and sustainable society. We believe today with the postgraduate program in development leadership, this is a small step for man and woman, but hopefully a giant leap for the sector. We believe we've gone with this sector to a space which no one has really gone before. A space of recognizing that development management is crucial and critical for the sector, recognizing that development management is unique and different from any other management that you see in the world, is something that's really never been attempted in a structured, long-term, research, studied manner. There's really nothing like this in the country, and there's nothing really like this even in the world. And we've done a lot of research to find out what's out there, best universities in the world, and we've really not come across any institute that's committed to building the domain, building the methods, building the program structures, the curriculum, the faculty, the partnerships, the platforms for development management to be established. And we believe that if development management does take roots and all that Ashish talked about, it will make a huge difference to the sector. So the thousands of crores that are being spent in the sector can have a much bigger, better, scalable, sustainable impact on the country and on the society. If I could take a few minutes to just talk about the journey of ISDM. The origins of ISDM was in discussions, like Gaurav said, at Azim Premji Foundation, where we were working on education, leadership, and management. Sharad Bihar Saab will remember some of those discussions. He was part of those meetings. He was an inspiration for all of us, and in some ways, the inspiration for ISDM too. Working across the country, we used to come across lots and lots of instances of people with amazing ideas, doing amazing work, but struggling to stay alive, struggling to keep their organizations alive, struggling to scale, struggling with fundraising, struggling with working with stakeholders, struggling with understanding the complexities of systems thinking. Huge challenges, and really there hasn't been any genuine work that's been done to understand those spaces and to figure out what does it mean to engage with those challenges and those questions for organizations in the development sector. We hope with this humble beginning at ISDM, we'll catalyze a whole series of maybe institutions, research work, a body of knowledge that gets built that will make a difference to these organizations in time to come. One of the biggest frustrations people face is trying to figure out why is it that business management ideas don't always work in the development sector. So we really need to study these questions and come up with answers, and we'll go on that journey together with all our students. What became obvious to us as we sort of went along is that this leadership issue is a systemic issue. It's not about people. Our country has a lot of really phenomenally talented people. It is a systemic issue. And when I say it's a systemic issue, I mean that there is nothing in this country like a Harvard Business School or even an Indian Institute of Management for the development sector. Those are great institutions and those are largely catered towards business and markets. There isn't anything that is of that stature, of that caliber in the country or even in the world for development management. And please don't allow anyone to convince you that development management is just a specialization of business management. It by no means is. The very objectives of why you are in business management and why you are in development management, at least the way it is run today, is significantly different. And that's very important to understand. Once you understand those roots, then everything else sort of makes sense. We do believe that if you're able to make an impact on the space, we'll see a society that's progressing closer to the idea of India that I talked about earlier. So the way we've defined, just to give you an idea of the vision that we've defined for ISDM. So the vision for ISDM is to create a vibrant, catalytic environment for development management. An environment in the country and in the world. We really think there is an opportunity for India to take leadership position in defining what is development management across the world. And towards this, we hope to build a body of knowledge which will be derived from a lot of work on the field, working with partners. Two, we hope to establish the criticality of professional development management for organizations working in the sector, and this is through a lot of work with organizations across the country. Three, to try and set the path, like Ashish said, for more institutions to start offering programs in development management and leadership across the country. And four, to facilitate the establishment of development management as a profession that future generations will aspire for. The parents will confidently send their wards to go study development management. Someone asked me a little earlier as to where do you see ISDM and development management in the years to come. And just some quick thoughts on that. I don't know if you're aware, but the first 3 IIMs produced over 50% of the CEOs of public listed companies in India when I looked at the data a few years ago. I hope that our students of ISDM will be all future CEOs and leading organizations either of their own or set up by others and making a difference to this country. I really believe that ISDM has the potential, and having seen the first cohort, for sure I'm even more energized to say what I'm saying. We do believe that the future leaders of the development sector are sitting in this room. We will undertake a lot of study, a lot of research, collaboratively, working with people who are working on the ground to understand what does it mean to address development challenges, how do you theorize from the experiences. This is a huge body of work that we hope to collaboratively work. Collaboration is a big thing. I think somewhere our world has moved towards competition as a driver of excellence. We completely disagree with that, and we believe that collaboration is a bigger driver of excellence than competition can ever be on a sustainable basis. We do hope to become a contributor, if not even a leader or a fountainhead for the discourse on development management across the world. We want to be a nodal agency that works on research projects across the world, on asking questions and understanding what development management is all about. Eventually, we do imagine ourselves to be a global university that's dedicated to development management. There is nothing like that in the world today. That's our vision. We'll let it evolve, we'll see where we go to. But the idea is to create a university that's world-renowned, that attracts students from around the world, that attracts researchers from around the world to come and study development management and contribute to the body of knowledge of development management. Before I start winding up, there's something that I normally don't do, but I'm going to do today. And it comes straight from the heart, and that's why I'm going to do this, which is there's a lot of people who have contributed to ISDM. ISDM has been built on the idea of collective wisdom and collective philanthropy. But there's really one person I want to call out who's made a huge difference to ISDM. Sorry to do this to you, Ashish. That's Ashish Dhawan. As you all know, he has made a significant philanthropic contribution. There are several others who made significant philanthropic contributions. But that belief in the criticality of development management management, that belief that this will make a difference to society, that belief that we should do things that will make the society a better place for all of us to live in, is something that I've been inspired working with Ashish and having those discussions with him. Ashish's non-monetary contributions have been really significant. The kind of discussions we've had, the kind of people we've been able to meet, the kind of talent that we've got coming to the institution to teach, the faculty that we have, it's just been a huge contribution, and I think all of us at ISDM are incredibly grateful to Ashish for helping us get this off the ground. Before I conclude, I just want to make a pledge to everybody in this room, and it's on the lines of what I think Ashish said. And I wrote this for myself, which is that we at ISDM promise to work hard and make a difference to society in the years ahead, and give you the opportunity to remember this day for a long time to come, and proudly tell others that you were there for the inauguration of ISDM. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ravi. This journey that I have been with ISDM in the past few months, I have learned so much from each one of the founders. And our next speaker is somebody who I feel always thinks 2 steps ahead and is very insightful. His knowledge just amazes me every time that I interact with him. And I'm sure students are going to feel likewise. So Sharad Agarwal, he spent 20 years in the automotive industry working for global OEMs from different parts of the world. He's also traveled extensively in India and around the world. And for the last 8 years, he has been working with schools driving scale and quality. He's on the board of IMPACT and has been actively supporting them to establish 1,100 centers and work with over 36,000 out-of-school girls to educate and mainstream them. Sharad's ability to just bring people together and carry them along is something we all really need to learn from. And therefore, I really request Sharad to take the stage and felicitate our guests and mentors who played a huge role in what ISDM is today. Over to you.
Thank you, Kanu, and namaskar. The journey that we started about 20 months ago, we've met about 1,200 people, or maybe 2,000 by the time. And each one of us, of them, has helped us. And so it was very difficult to individually thank each one of them. And I think there will be many more who have collaborated. And it's like, going into a train, so we just realized that there are those 10 people who sit. But there's so many more who are there, who are trying to make it work for us. And thank you so much, each one of them. I will only narrate some inspiring moments. And most of them, and as some people would know, for me, most of them have been done over some meal or the other. So the first one that we recollect was the springboard, was the brief breakfast chat that Ravi and I had with Sanjeev Kumar of Parivartan and Takshila Education Society in Sivan, who inspired us to take the leap of faith and commence the journey. I still remember when both Ravi and I were talking to him, he said, "What is it? Kariye na, hum hain aapke saath." And that is the way when we got back onto the train, we started. Another very defining moment for ISDM has been over Rava tea and coffee at Sagar Ratna with Pramod Sinha. Pramod has been one of the creators of institutions in this Indian School of Business, Ashoka University, Vedika, and Anand University, where we didn't really carry any piece of paper, so we picked up a napkin, and on the napkin, Pramod explained us the whole critical drivers of the program. It was very reassuring that about 15 months later, when he recently told us, you may not realize it, but the way things have evolved, you are into something very big. And Pramod is not here today because he had to travel, but I think it's one part of those things that putting that perspective in place is so useful. So Ravi has talked about Ashish, and we are very grateful to Ashish for all the support he has provided. Prahad Saab has always had tough questions for us. which has helped us build the vision of ISDM in a unique manner. Thank you, sir. I had never realized that Vedarya, a father figure in livelihood, stayed next door. We stayed in the same colony for 20 years. He was one of the earliest people who we reached out to, and he was extremely gracious in support, advice, and guidance. Wade introduced us to Professor Tushar Shah, who is the ex-director of IRMA, the member of the founding team of Mr. Varghese Kurian. Professor Tushar helped us learn from the experience from IRMA and ensure that ISDM remains focused on the development sector. There are a lot of names that we could talk about, and this is Professor Subhashish Gangopadhyay, who was the ex-director of ISI and the director for School of Humanities at Shivnagar, who helped us start the curriculum development process, along with Professor Shanta Kumar of APU, Professor Kajari Mishra from XIM Bhubaneswar, Nivedita Narayan, the Pradhan and Ambedkar University, and Titus Maxey. Titus has been a person who's worked on so much of policy matters and for microfinance. Thank you so much. Thank you, Arindam, our dear friend and batchmate, for helping us start the fundraising from a batch of IMA 88. I recall that 3-day visit that both you and Ravi did, and Ravi came back and said, look, Arindam has said that this is the way we will run it. And you were one of the first contributions from you. And that's when we approached the other batchmates like Rohit Kapoor, the CEO of EXL, or Ravi Thakran, who's the chairman and managing director of CAT, who has supported us. Several batchmates have supported us at all times. And one of the things that I always believed that the genesis was in our 25th year reunion in Ahmedabad, when the batch decided that, at 25 years you go back to figure out what should we do. And Ravi was instrumental in guiding the batch to say that, hey, listen, we all need to get together and focus on making an impact and giving back to society. We started with working with Impact, which was one of our first, and therefore I think that's the genesis of this part. Biju Chandrasekhar is a very valued person for the ISDM history. He wrote the first check for us. And he wrote the check for us when we were just starting and we needed that check before we started the check. Thank you so much. His daughter and his wife have been evangelizing ISDM. And I'm sure as we go forward, we will reap the benefits of that. Friends like Lavi Mehrotra, who looks after all and helps us with the chartered accountant and company secretary, but who's also the conscience on the governance and who warns us and pushes us. This has been a large pillar of support. And then there is Srivatsan of Gursabha, and this is interesting. We wanted to do a conference call system, and Ravi spoke to Srivatsan of Gursabha Nigam, and he said, hey, listen, we don't have the money just now, can we do conference calls? And he said, there is a free conference call number which we continue to use, which has kept us connected, which has helped us in this whole journey that we've done. There's been an endless list of people that we would like to thank, but I would talk about Nitin Maheshwari, Paddy, Jaya Murthy, Karthik Sundaram, and Professor Shanta Sinha, who have supported us while we are still in ITM. And Ravi talked about his parents and our parents, and I think our parents have been very instrumental in helping us, encouraging us to make this happen. Each one of them has allowed, we still go back and their presence and their encouragement has helped us where we are. Last but not the least, I have received incredible support from my wife Monica, daughter Tanvi, and son Tushar, who work selflessly on ISDM. Most of the work that I get credit for is being done by one of the three. And that's a fact. So if you would look at it, that's the way it is. And so this is just some of the anecdotal briefs on people who have helped us. We would now just like to have a small thank you to some of the people who are here. And I would like to invite Ved first to come in. And request Ashish, just give him a small request Bihar Sahab come in. And if you just speaker, thank you so much and we seek your blessings. Request Arindam. Thank you. Biju, please come. Sanjeev is not here, so may I request Etika to come in and just. Sanjeev's daughter is here and she now runs Parivartan today. So. Titus, thank you so much. Ravi, would you be able to give a small token to Ashish? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharad, and thank you, everyone. Suparna Divakar, as we often say, is the soul of ISDM, and its heart too, and its head too, but the soul for sure. She has worked extensively in the development sector for over 25 years and brings immense knowledge to every conversation about the social sector. She started her career with Mairada and moved on to lead and manage multiple projects, ranging from being a founding trustee of Adamya Chetna, Vice President at the Center for Leadership and Management in Public Services. She's been a consultant for multiple projects for the government, in rural development projects, education and training, curriculum development. She's also done collaborative projects with organizations like TIS, the Teacher Foundation, CSR range of organizations, Azim Premji Foundation, UNICEF, etc. And I think I'd like to share a little quote here for Suparna, which says, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you, except the will which says to them, hold on. That is really, I think, what Suparna brings to ISDM and brings to all of us. Shaking her head at me.
Namaste to everyone. So I'm not very good at making speeches. So I prepared something and I'm going to try and stick with the script. So Ravi, Sharad, Ashish have already described the incredible journey we have been over the past 2 years. It's been just amazing. And for me personally, it's really a dream come true. And I can see there were, Aake Nami ho rahi thi for many people and for me too. It's really an amazing. So I'm supposed to be telling you a little about the curriculum. And I know it sounds really boring, doesn't it, when I'm saying I'm going to talk about the curriculum. But actually the curriculum is really, really exciting. And that is the heart of what we are trying to do. So this is really a program that we are looking at to develop reflective development practitioners. And it is being designed to build the capabilities of all our students over here to apply knowledge and skills with expertise. And very important, in context. So over the past several months, several cups of tea, several arguments, lots of heated discussions, lots of conversations with faculty, people from the sector, several people, practitioners who have been working in the field for several years. Some of them are here. We actually designed something we are really, really proud of. It's a one-of-its-kind program in the country. I haven't seen anything like it, and I'm sure you will agree if you look at the program that it is something that's completely unique. So somebody was asking me, so what are the courses you're going to teach? I said, we are not teaching courses really. What? We are not teaching any courses? So our program is actually not about the courses. It's a problem-based learning approach, which is going to help you to learn how to solve complex problems in the social sector. And that's the core of what we are trying to do. So we start with the, what is called a problem-based learning approach. And this is a curriculum that will engage you with problems, with looking at what are the issues, what are the concerns, and what are the types of solutions that are appropriate in this context. There's no linearity. It's extremely complex. You have to look at systems. You have to design solutions that make sense at that particular case. This requires a different kind of ability, and that's what this program is going to try and do for you. See, normally colleges will say, come and run classes and go. So you have a packed week, but you're going to be actually sitting in class only 3 days. So that's not a great deal, is it? 3 days in a week you're going to sit in class. The other 3 days you're going to be actually looking at doing inquiry, looking at answers to questions. And that's really going to be the interesting part. And what is even more interesting is the cohort. And I'm as excited about being part of this program as you are, because the kind of cohort we have, ranging from 21 to 38, with people with so many years of experience, people who have started their own enterprises, the kind of thing you're going to bring to the classroom and learn from each other is just fantastic. I think Ravi was mentioning about collaboration, and so our course actually is grounded in a value of collaboration. What is collaboration, and the value that you hold in being able to share, build, create, design together. That is the power of the kind of solutions that you will be able to bring to the social sector. So I think this is going to be one of those journeys that will be something that we will begin here, but we are seeing that this is a part of building the learning community of development managers and development leaders. This is the start of that journey, and we do look forward to the founding team becoming part of the family that goes out but also comes back to ISDM to build this domain. And I'm sure that there are questions about assessment and exams and all that. You have no exams. Okay, so that's the base part. You have no exams. That doesn't mean you do not have assessment. Or you do have assessment. But the assessment is also unique in that there is not going to be a person who is coming from the outside to start looking at, okay, what have you learned, what have you not learned. Now, the whole attempt is to help you get on this journey of learning, which means that there's a lot of emphasis on self-learning, peer learning, group feedback, feedback from faculty, and a person that is the Sutradhara. And I'm going to be there on this journey with you, learning along with you. That's, for me, it's the most exciting thing about what we have set out to do. So 49 weeks, beginning tomorrow. Intense program, but have fun, guys. There's going to be the joy of inquiry, joy of learning, joy of being together, learning from each other. It's just exciting and fantastic. So the 49 weeks, don't look at it as, oh wow, it's just fantastic 49 weeks. And for me personally, I've been in the sector for 28 years now. And that's a really long time. Right? People have started calling me Mataji and all that. So, yeah. So, 28 years is a long time. And, I was just thinking, I began my career as a grassroots field worker in a village in a taluk called Kodalkere in Karnataka. And from there, when I moved into more leadership and management roles, it's just been a journey of learning on your own. And I was thinking to myself the other day, it would have been just wonderful if there was a program of this kind. It would have helped me, I think, make a much greater impact in the work that I did over the past 25 years. So I think for you guys, this is a fantastic opportunity. I wish you all the very best and look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, 8:45.
Thank you, Subarna. May I now request the founders to take their seat with the audience, because I have the pleasure of inviting on stage our students to share their stories. I wish we had time to invite each one of you to present your story, but since we don't have that luxury on a Monday morning, we have chosen 2 students to represent the diversity that this batch has, that Subarna also mentioned. So may I request Priyanka, one of our very first students, one of our very first applicants, very first interviews in Pune, Teach for India fellow, and then was working there as well. So Priyanka, please share your story. Please put your hands together for one of our students.
I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you will give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. 6 years ago, I stepped into the role of a teacher, listening to these beautiful lines at Teach for India Institute, and believing that one day all children will attain an excellent education. In my roles, I've taught children, trained and mentored teachers, and coached school leaders. But more than all of this, I've learned. I grew up in a family where my mother exemplified compassion for me, my father exemplified hard work, and my brother excellence. I received immeasurable encouragement to pursue what I wanted to do. Joining ISDM is a perfect example. I'm proud to say that I've already been associated with ISDM for over 6 months now, since my first ever phone conversation with Gaurav. And the journey of getting here has been absolutely fantastic. And I get goosebumps as I think of all that we're going to create in the next 12 months. As I stand here and speak, absolutely humbled, I think of all the little and big humans I have interacted with, who probably didn't have the same access and opportunity. I think of little Harsh, whom I taught when he was 8. He was precisely one child that nobody wanted to be in school. He locked up people in the bathroom, he chopped off people's hair and spat on children's faces. We realized that this aggression was the result of the treatment he was receiving at home. He was kept tied so that he didn't make trouble. After polite and strict conversations that didn't work with his family, threatening them, they changed. So did my little Harsh. He's going to be writing his 9th grade this year. I think of another boy. He was in grade 2 in the school that I taught in 2011. He was the naughtiest, but everyone's favorite. He succumbed to mental pressure. When he was in grade 7, he hung himself. I couldn't sleep the night I got this news, and helplessly thought about what could have prevented this loss. I still don't have the answer. These stories are heart-wrenching, but these are the little humans, and many, many more, who have pushed me beyond my limits to do my bit. ISDM for me is one of its kind opportunity where I want to learn and grow with people and eventually develop more people. Finally, I just want to say, I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka, for inspiring your entire batch and the entire audience here, and I'm sure we will all dance. Kaushik, please come and share your story with this group.
Hello everyone. I really feel thankful and honored for being here today. My journey which started from a remote corner of North Bengal to Kolkata to ISDM. To me, it doesn't seem like less than a mutiny. From being in the dark cloud of isolation, from being effeminate and soft-spoken, from being bullied in school and in family, for just trying to be me, to those darkest nights, full of fear and anxiety, being victim of child sexual abuse, to that of choosing a different way. At times, it seems like a never-ending dark night. But thank God I didn't believe in that darkness. Thank God I didn't believe in the depression. Thank God something in me kept telling me that to believe in the rainbow. Therefore, I am here today. Therefore, I have been able to create spaces to give voice to many like me. Therefore, I have been able to create livelihood venture, which is a transfeminine livelihood venture called Satrangi, which is now creating handicrafts like this stole I'm wearing now, but also empowering many trans women in the same place once I was bullied. Thank God I believed in the rainbow. Therefore, 2 transgender girls were once forced to beg at the traffic signal were now getting trained to become India's first ever transgender nurses. Through such ventures. Therefore, I have been able to turn the pain into power. In this journey, I saw lights in many. I saw lights in the last organization I was working with, Ramtakatha, which means narratives from the margin. In Prabha, being mentored by stalwart like Vinu Venkateshwaran, and through them, in one of the founders of ISDM, Mr. Gaurav Shah. In this journey from dark cloud to the faint rainbow proved darkness is real, but is never ultimate. It proves we should never stop believing in the rainbow, in miracle and magic. Magic enters where our comfort ends. Now I would like to end with a quote from Rumi. The moon is the place where light enters you. Thank you.
You know, in this journey for me at ISDM, whenever I've met any student, I must say this, I've just got goosebumps at how inspired they are as individuals. Back at in Bangalore, we learned this Maslow's hierarchy. I think we should just dump that here at ISDM because these students are just so marvelous, and I just can't wait to interact more with you. Thank you so much, Kaushik. You are so wonderful, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you. As I said before, we can't ask each one of you to speak, but we have made a small attempt to introduce this wonderful founding batch to all of you. And a special thanks to Sajid Nair, one of our students, and the team who worked on this video that we should now be showing you, where you can understand why we're feeling so wonderful about having them here. Thank you. And all of them would not have been here, as Ashish said earlier, if it were not for all of you, parents, friends, spouses, well-wishers. And so on behalf of the parent community, on behalf of the families, I'd really like to invite Mr. Menezes, father of one of our students, David Menezes, to share his thoughts on your behalf.
Well, it's really an honor to be here this morning. And as a parent representing all of the parents here, my simple message to you would be to live the story you want to tell. Now, how do we live the story we want to tell? It's basically by making the decisions you make today are really the story you're going to tell tomorrow. And so I want to congratulate the founders, the team, the staff, and all of you co-founders of ISDM for the vision and the decision you made to start ISDM. I believe it's only chapter 1, because this is the first batch, and your pictures are already being shown, and your stories are going to be told. Secondly, how do we live the story we are going to tell? Let me give you a leadership nugget. It's called maximizing your potential. Someone will say, what is potential? Potential is dormant ability. Potential is hidden strength. Potential is all you can become, but you haven't become it yet. Now I want you to remember this, students and everyone here. Whatever you have done is not your potential. Whatever you have done is not your potential. Potential is always what you have not yet done. That is your potential. Potential is what really nobody knows about you. A year later, it's going to come to the forefront. Example, many of you are graduates. You finished your graduation, many have done your post-graduation. It's over. That's why you're in a place like ISDM, because you've got to maximize your potential. If we ever cut an apple, we see a seed. That seed is potential. The seed you see is a fact, but that's not the truth. The truth is, in that seed is a tree that has apples in it, that have seeds in it, that have trees in it. And that is potential. What we see is a seed, but the fact is, it's an orchard of apples. Students, you are an orchard of great potential. And so as I end, ISDM aims to create a community of learners. I found it on your website. But my hope as a parent, and I'm sure for all of us, is that our children will become a community of learned leaders who would lead development, who would lead businesses, who would lead enterprises, who would lead communities, cities, and nations. So may God bless ISDM, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts on this occasion. I now invite a very special person to the stage, and we're actually nearing the end of this program. Soha Moitra, the director of the Northern Region of CRI. CRI is one of our partners, and if you see the corner there, we've created a content corner for all of you to take a look at, where you can see that ISDM is already partnered with a lot of great organizations. CRI is one of them. Soha joined CRI in 1997 as a postgraduate in social work from MS University, and in her initial years, she's worked with the youth division in Delhi and later the development support division. After gaining experience at the grassroots, she went on to lead the volunteer action division, and today, as I said before, she's the regional director for the North. Thank you so much for being here.
Sorry I was late, so I had already lost hope to come here on this podium, and I was silently admiring this gathering. Thank you so much for inviting CRI. Thank you, Mr. Ravi and the entire team. Where to start from? Because today's things have, taken me through a lot of other journeys which I have traveled so far. One, for being a student, where I didn't have this opportunity to be a part of a robust faculty and an environment which is going to give me exposure to understand what does it mean to be a leader in development space. Because, we being in that generation, we were like passionate about doing something for the society and just plunge into MSW course and get on with life, which I really treasure. But during these years in my journey as a humble person working on the field with CRI for the last 20 years and then kind of graduated to being a leader, I have realized that, it's lovely to have a passion and the skills and some bit of knowledge on the ground, but you miss out if you don't have the skills to be strategic, to understand how to scale up, to understand how to give tangible results to the partners you are interacting with, you lose out in the journey. And this is the space which ISDM has very, very fruitfully created, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I wanted to, in fact, suggest to Ravi that, in one of your few sessions, you should have a session about the journey, how you started ISDM. Because that's a class in itself. Meeting 2,000 people in 9 months, less than 9 months, is no joke. We at CRI are still struggling with it. And we in fact had a session with Ravi back home, and we went back home and being inspired, and we are meeting people since then for CRI. The other point I just quickly wanted to make was, we are at a very interesting space right now. It is a cusp. It is a cusp where post the Companies Act, the corporate world is willing to jump into, understand what the non-profit is doing. And corporate world with their management, their way of looking at the impact on the ground, is actually asking hard questions to the development sector. And again, coming back to the theory of the fact that if you're passionate on the ground is not enough. You have to promise tangibility, you have to promise impact. So all of you who are the future leaders, in fact, have to keep your eyes open and the eyes and the ears open to the robust faculty which ISDM is promising, to ask hard questions on, if I'm going to be a development worker tomorrow, what it means to give tangible results, what it means to give long-term impact, without losing your hold, because it's a difficult space. It's easier than said than saying that everything is tangible on the ground. And yet, it is becoming a bit easy to say from our space that, oh, we cannot measure everything and we want to get ahead. That doesn't work in this world now anymore. So what I would like to close my, these 2 words is that you just go and ask difficult questions on development, ask different questions to the management gurus on how to get long-term impact on the ground, how to understand tangibility, how to see the short of the long. And all of these questions, I think, is going to take us a long way. Thank you.
Thank you, Soha. I'm sure like you saw yourself in the students, they have also seen a bit of themselves in you, right? Future leaders of the development sector. So, as I said, we're almost at a close, but we have made a video for all of you to just capture the moments of the past few months and share our story. This is to you. Years ago, our nation builders shared a vision of a country with justice, liberty, equality and fraternity for every citizen. Today, India has come a long way. However, we still have many miles to go. To achieve the vision we dreamt of, we need passionate and professional leaders who can build world-class social organizations, design and implement innovative social interventions, and establish collaborative networks.
One of the sad realities of the development sector is that there is an acute shortage of good leadership and management talent in the sector. ISDM has a vision to create an ecosystem that's vibrant and catalytic for the development management space. And as part of our mission to achieve that, we hope to build the domain through consistent structured research, documenting good work. We hope to collaborate with all the organizations in the sector to bring them together to build the domain of development management.
Great institutions are built with great effort. Allow us to take you back in time and share our journey so far.
And the support of all the stakeholders have helped us to build a program which will generate students who will be relevant for the industry today. We met a large number of people in the sector, maybe about 700, and over the last 2 years it is now becoming about 1,200. And we have received so much of active support from each and every one that we realized that the journey of ISDM has rocketed, and we have been able to launch our first program in a very short time.
Evangelizing the idea of development management and building capacity in the sector are two important areas of work for us at ISDM. With this in mind, we started a discussion series called Dialogues on Development Management, where our effort is to bring senior leaders from different kinds of stakeholder organizations together to talk about development management. With the capacity building mandate in mind, we've also organized 2 short-term professional development programs on topics like managing impact evaluation and risk and opportunity management for development sector leaders. These were attended by about 35 to 40 participants from across many different partner organizations.
We began with the question of how would we actually develop a world-class curriculum for developing reflective development practitioners. And we said the only way to do it is to go to practitioners and get their inputs, bring them together to actually create this curriculum. So here we are today with the academic working group, which helped us to put together this curriculum, which brings together knowledge, skills and application.
So one fundamental piece that we focus on here, among other things, is how do we help people develop the skills and abilities to collaborate? How, if I value collaboration, am I going to make sure that I have the skills and abilities to make it really happen in practice? Because without that, I really don't have the ability to make collaboration happen as a reality.
So the ISDM curriculum is unique in the context of India. It's centered around the idea of collaborative problem solving, which means that students are not only engaging with theories and concepts and frameworks, but they are also applying these collaboratively.
The most exciting part of the entire school selection journey was our experience in meeting people who are extremely bright and passionate about social change and transformation. From ISDM's Dialogues on Development Management and Professional Development platforms, to webinars, to many interactive discussions across multiple colleges and different fellowship groups.
Our rigorous admissions process, consisting of 2 rounds of interview, a statement of purpose, and a written test, served us well in this regard. Each offer that we made was preceded by in-depth discussions within the founding team, where each candidate was discussed at length. After a 6-month rewarding journey, we are thrilled to present before you the founding batch of ISDM's postgraduate program in development leadership.
And I wish you all the best for an absolutely fabulous journey that you're going to have.
All the best for this year. It's going to be a year of great learning. Many congratulations and good luck for a year that's going to be one of reflection and learning.
All the best. Welcome to ISDM. I really look forward to meeting all of you very shortly.
Thank you very much. And all the very best. And I wish you all the very best for your journey.
Thank you for being part of the journey of ISDM.
So thank you, but here at ISDM we believe a lot in the power of music. As somebody said, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to imagination, and life to everything. So we really could not end this program today without a song, and we have more than one song from our students presenting the founding batch of ISDM. So very short from Ankit, Yashasvi, Murali, and Maya, and Raman.
Sunshine, Valley, Asha.
time. You have just shown us what Mr. Menon said potential can be. Awesome. Thank you. And on that very, very inspirational note, we should close this program here. But we should now proceed for the ribbon cutting ceremony, for the inaugural ceremony. We would love to take all of you along with us, but due to logistics, we are requesting the students, the most important members of the whole program today, to please move down to the 3rd floor. And you'll be joined shortly by the founders and our guests. For the rest of us, including me, we are going to be narrowcasting the ribbon cutting ceremony, so please stay here and we can take part in the excitement. This program really can't be complete without mentioning the presence of some very special guests. We don't have a concept of a chief guest because we believe in collaboration, right? Chandra, thank you so much for being here. And ma'am, thank you so much. It's really an honor to have you all here. Thank you, each one of you, and let's proceed for the ribbon cutting ceremony. Students, may I request the committee team.
There's space here. Come down. Video, right? So you said yes. Sir, please. आइए नीचे आइए. There's a lot of space. Students. Hello sir. आइए नीचे आइए. Come. How are you? I'm very fine. I can be out of Mridul,
Kishore, any other students?
Abhinay, come down.
Please come down.
I think the rest can form a line.
David, come down.
Just form a line.
Sumit, come.
You all could stand.
I can't get any emails.
So all the tall ones can now go and stand.
Come, there's a lot of space. Come down.
Formally come to you. Formally send you an email.
Come down. You should be able to see. Come down.
All the students, their role in particular.
Maybe because I may.
Which bed is maybe it is.
And Nisha?
नहीं सर हम हैं आप
Three of you all for us. Come. Let's come in. Come.
need a picture together. Send to the Aspire. Yes, we should. Yes.
Come. So the students can come.
These are the most important. All the very hello. Good. Oh, very good.
Welcome, guys.
Just keep passing the marker quickly.
Talked a lot about it. I don't believe everything is a plus.
One more time. Thank you. Okay, yes?
Say capitalism!
Wait, cheers, guys!